Okay, so what we're doing is I need to add a style sheet for album previewer, which also means that I'm going to have to do the assignment. As a side note, this irritates the crap out of me because I spent a lot of time on the styles for that, and they're all gone. I have no idea where they went. So whatever. Let's it's an opportunity to make this video. So the first thing I'm going to do is make a new branch. Call this.
I don't think you're sharing.
Oh, I am not sharing. So first thing I'm going to do is make a new branch. And then I should probably just go ahead and start a server now. How about? Oops, I don't think I'm in the right folder. Nope, I'm not. Perfect. So npx light server. All right, there she blows. So over here, let's pull up that README. All right, so working for Next Step Records, job is to make a site that displays information about albums, label puts out, and plays samples of the tracks. Overall site layout and styling is already done. They just have to add the interactivity to it. The list of albums should display on the index HTML page. Any individual album should display on the album HTML page. No need to alter any of the HTML or CSS files or create any new files. Index HTML and album HTML have corresponding JS files that are already linked. Album data has all been loaded. Music files are in site assets tracks. Covers are in site assets cover images. The elements that you dynamically create should look like this. All right, and user stories. So user stories are like features. We're going to talk more about these one of these days. But in general, we want to do these in order. Given that a listener is on the home page, so we're on the home page right now, then a list of albums is shown. So what I want to do is go over to index.html. I've got this list of albums there. So I need to get all of the albums, which I think I have already. Like if I console log, I think it's data. So data or albums, something like that. Data is not defined. What about albums? There we go. So I have this array of 4 albums here. And I need to make those show up on the page. So that's going to be like an albums.map album something or other. So that's the album listing. So I can just copy that straight over. The wrapper is that anchor. So this is A is, let's say album, is document.create element A. Album.href is all of this. And then let's use that class list API. So not like this. That's not how we do it. It's .add to get that class in there. And then I've got all the rest of that taken care of. And this stuff is the inner HTML. All right, cool. So I have transformed that album And now I need to take the album and put it on the page. So I have this albums container. So I can say albums append album. And albums.map is not a function. I think it is, Mon. Let me see if I got this right. Data.js. Const albums. Looks like an array of objects to me. What you mean this ain't a array? Okay, there's an array there. Oh, I've got some .then in there. Oh, .then. Come on, Coberly. For each. It's Friday for all of us. All right, so now I've got stuff showing up here. It just has to be the actual things. So let's see what those things are. Each album. Okay, so artist name goes here. So this is going to be, oops. Album.artist. Title is going to be right here. So that'll be album.title. Okay, so I've got those showing up okay. Then I need to, so that cover image, this is where it gets a tiny bit tricky. So that one I've got as album.cover image, but I don't think that works. Yeah, it doesn't. And the reason why is because that's looking for it in the same directory as this file, which it's not. So this file is in here. We want assets, cover images like that. So that becomes assets, cover images / All right, now I've got images showing up. And then cover of album title, I think is just the title. So album dot title. Okay, cool. So making progress. Now I don't need this console log anymore. And to improve the code quality, anytime you see this like album dot, that's kind of adding a lot of noise. And we could do pretty much the same thing. Oop, and this needs one too. That's supposed to be the ID. Album.id. Otherwise, I think that's all about right. Yeah. So instead of doing that every time, what we can do is, this has to be in parentheses. It's the easiest thing to screw up. When you go home and you try to do this on your own and it doesn't work, this is why it didn't. Has to be in parentheses, even though it's one argument. And then you can destructure. So I need the ID, the cover image, the title, and the artist. And now I can drop the word album from all of these. All I did is destructure those properties out of the object. Cool. Is it still working? Nope, broke something. Artist is not defined. Oop. All right, we're working again. Cool, rocking. Back over to user stories. Cool. I think that's everything from the homepage. So that has like, make sure the navigation works and stuff. Yeah, that's it for the homepage. All right, so I'm going to make a commit here and then style it. So this is add album listing. And then to style this, app.css. I'm going to touch app.css. Okay, and then first thing I'm going to do is reset these styles. I'm just going to use the reset CDN. So Meyer reset. Yep. Meyer reset CDN. I'm going to grab the link tag. Got to make sure it goes before the one that you're writing. And since I have that other HTML page, is that one doing it already? That one has Font Awesome in it, which I'll probably also want. All right, now it's got the Meyer reset too. Okay, so this is all reset now. For Next Step Records, I probably want some kind of sort of playful, maybe retro font.
Does it matter that you have two of the Meyer resets in there?
They're not both Meyer resets. So they're both from Cloudflare, but one of them is the Meyer reset, and the other one is Font Awesome, which is an icon library.
Okay, thank you.
Good question. All right, so I want a display typeface for the logo. Oops, stop it. And something that kind of says Next Step Records. Oh, that Rock 3D one, that's kind of cool. It's a little bit too precious, but I dig it.
Extremely readable.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man, a slab serif. So serifs are the feet on characters. So like how this H has little feet down at the bottom, and this N has little feet, and this part of the U. So those are called serifs. A slab serif is when those feet are like have are like rectangles. These big fat feet. That always looks a little retro. All right, Alpha Slab 1 is kind of my... Ooh, yeah! Hell yeah. This is the winner. All right, so I want that one, and then I want something that pairs with that. Sometimes they tell you. Like some fonts that would go kind of well with that. I don't see one, though. All right, so we want a body typeface that will complement this well. So like first question is, does righteous, where is it? We got to decide whether or not we want to do serifs or sans serif with that. I'm going to go sans serif. Oops, did my necklace just break? Hang on. Stand by. There it is. All right, so I'm going to go sans serif. Kind of maybe pairs nice with that. And I also want it to look just a little bit retro. Lato might be a good one for that. All right, I'm going to Nito. And I want their regular weight. And then I'm going to import this into the style sheet. Okay, so font family Nunito with a fallback to sans serif. And then my H1, I'm going to use that other one, which was righteous. Cool. Hey, that didn't look half bad. Some other things I need to reset. The color of my anchors should be inherited. And also do text decoration none. And I'm going to say this H1 should also be font size. Oh, let's just swag it at 36 pixels. Cool. Say the body should probably have. Actually, here's a cool trick that I learned about padding. Start with like absurdly too much, like 300. Just smashing it in there. And then once you've done that, use the element inspector to just play with it and step it back. But the thinking is that you end up doing way better numbers for that going this direction than starting with 0 and then adding stuff. When you start with 0 and add stuff, you stop adding stuff when it stops actively looking bad, but not when it looks good. You tend to make better choices going this way. So, like, I actually think, yeah, I would have never guessed. Like 150. That actually looks pretty good on the sides. I think I want a little bit less on the top and bottom though. So what if I go with half of that? Some kind of like mathematical relationship to it. Like 75 pixels. Yeah, that doesn't look bad. So I'm going to say 75 and 150. Next, I'm going to say that
That was a neat trick. Thanks for showing me
yeah, I'm
that.
happy to. I learned that from a book called Refactoring UI, which is the single best book on web design I've ever read. I'm going to put a margin bottom on this. Same thing. It wouldn't be more than 36. And 36 looks pretty good. Latest releases, I'm guessing, is an H2. Yeah. So for that one, I got to decide if I want to do that same righteous typeface and then maybe just do something else with it. Like maybe all I do is just smaller values of all these. I have a hunch that's not where I'm going to go, but let's see. What if I just cut all that in half? Yeah, that feels like too much. So I'm going to see what I can do with Nunito and that. What if I step up the size? Hey, that's not looking so bad. Although now I'm kind of wishing I also had a lighter weight for that Nonito. So I'm also going to pick up maybe the extra light. So I go back here, add that style also, and then just re-import it. And then I'm going to set the weight of this to 200. Feels like slightly too thin. What if I step it up? Feels like it fights a little bit with the main heading. So I'm going to go back down to 24 and then try stepping up that weight. Now that I have the weight in there, make that, just edit it in place. Yeah, that looks a lot better. All right, so next thing that I need to figure out is how to make these display. So I'm gonna say this seems like kind of like a ready-made thing for Flex. So if I do UL albums and display flex and then flex flow row wrap, that probably gets me pretty close. Is it albums? Yep. Did it? Ah, there we go. And what if I constrain each album? I said like the width of this can be no longer than no more than 500 pixels, or maybe 1,000. Trying to get it to grid. There we go. That's what I want to see. And then what if I, in the space between, there we go. That's more what I want. And I'm going to similarly just slowly step down the size of this width until it kind of looks right. And so what I'm looking for is I'm going to want this gap to be similar, like related to one of these two gaps. And actually, I'm going to also just constrain these images a little bit too. We'll say every image has a fixed width of, I don't know, 250? Cool. And if I step that up a little bit, yeah, 300 seems right. So those will be 300. And then the whole thing, start making that reflow. Going to put that on the bottom for just a second. All right, yeah, something like that. Well, I think I was kind of in the neighborhood. I think 1,000 might be pretty good. Yeah, it looks great. Okay, so I'll set the width at 1,000. And then the way I get like vertical space on these is with margin on the actual things. So I gave these all a class of album. So I can say like album margin bottom. What's 36 look like? Just fine. All right, and then the last thing that these need is to style these like artists and titles. So did I put anything that lets me kind of tap into that? No. Stupid. All right, I'm gonna change this just a little bit. And I'll update the instructions too, so that this is wrapped in a span. As is this. That's going to allow me to style them separately. All right, so then that one becomes that. Class is artist. Class is title. All right, cool. So then I want to make the artist bold to differentiate it a little bit from the name of the album. So we'll do font weight 700. And I don't have the 700 weight of that font. So let's grab it. Or maybe it's just not finding the element. Something with the class of artist. Yeah, it's not attaching the thing. Artist. Come on, man. All right, that's a little bit better. And then I'm going to put just a little bit of margin on the bottom of that image. Too much. So how about I step it back? Yeah, more like that. Is that 12? Perfect. Okay. Yeah, that didn't look half bad. So, if I were, let's see, I'm trying to think if there's anything else I could do to step this up. I'm going to put a banner right at the top. This is such a stupid way to like, because like this looks fine and it's like really clear. It's also kind of boring. Let me show you a really stupid hack for making something boring like get exciting. So if I set a border top on the body that's like solid 1 pixel and then like a brand color. So Next Step Records is going to be orange. So this will be something like a little bit clockwise from red. So how about 30? And then let's just swag these colors in and kind of see where we get. That's like orangey. I got in the ballpark. I want to darken that a little bit. Too much. Step up the saturation. Yeah, there we go. A little less. And just a little bit darker. Too dark. Yeah, that's a good like vintage orange. And then if I rotate this, oops, too red, too green, just right. Okay, so, and then I'm gonna make this actually like 10 pixels. There we go. So stupid. I'm gonna saturate that a little more. Feels like that's not taking. And we go back over here. Man, that is not having a huge impact. So what happens if I play with the lightness a little bit? There we go. Okay, so if I do like 60% lightness, 90%, so 30, 60, 90, 30, 90, 60, sorry. 90, 60. All right. Like, pretty wild, right? Like, what a difference that makes. So if I turn it on and off, how much more like put together that makes a design look. It's weird. All right, so I feel pretty good about that one. So I'm gonna make a commit. Git add styles for homepage. Cool. I'm gonna pause there. Questions about anything that I did?
Looks great, but I do have a question about something else when you're ready.
All right, any more questions about Album Previewer? All right, I'm going to pause there.